All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Beyond the Message podcast. We are in the last week of our series on relationships, and this week we are talking about forgiveness. It's a really big topic, and so for that, we've brought together a big team. I'm here, Scott's here, Anthony Taylor, our Director of Kids and Students, is here, and Sarah Chapman is here joining us as well. Sarah is an author, speaker, and she's joining us this weekend for our women's conference, and is going to be hosting a breakout session on dreaming with God, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So excited to hear what you have to say, and I think it's going to be a gift for our women.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so this week we're talking about forgiveness. It was an interesting week, unique kind of in the chapel as our campus pastors taught across our campuses. And so they took this message and delivered whatever the Spirit was laying on their heart for their campus. But I thought it'd be cool for us to look at a passage on forgiveness together, or that brings up forgiveness. And this passage is found actually in all the Gospels. And I think it's the first time that Jesus forgives someone publicly, forgives someone's sins. And so it's found in Matthew 9. It's also found in Mark 2 and Luke 5. But I'm going to read Matthew. It's the shortest of the accounts, but I kind of like Matthew's.
Mark's quick.
Yeah, I like Matthew's conciseness in it. Matthew 9 says, Jesus stepped into a boat, crossed over, and came to his own town. Some men brought to him a paralyzed man lying on a mat. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the man, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." At this, some of the teachers of the law said to themselves, "This fellow is blaspheming." Knowing their thoughts, I love that, Jesus said, "Why do you entertain evil thoughts in your hearts? Which is easier, to say your sins are forgiven or to say get up and walk? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So he said to the paralyzed man, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." Then the man got up and went home. And when the crowd saw this, they were filled with awe, and they praised God who had given such authority to man.
That's awesome.
I love this passage because I think a lot of times in our Christian walk, Christian faith, especially the way a lot of us grew up, there's this idea of like, okay, Jesus, his death on the cross, that's like the introduction of forgiveness. But I like bringing it back to this point in the Gospels where it's like, actually, he was in the forgiving business before the cross. And we can go back even farther than that, right?
Yeah.
To see that God is a forgiving God. But I just love this like introduction of forgiveness. And I just wonder what comes up in your guys' minds and hearts as you hear it or read it.
Yeah. I think that it's remarkable that people would struggle with forgiveness. And so like I look at it and I think, here's a guy who got healed. And you're struggling with the fact, right? Because you think somehow he deserves it. You think somehow this is the order of things. You think somehow... And in ancient cultures in particular, they didn't have a separation of supernatural and natural.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of one thing. And so, like, when they looked at somebody getting healed, it wasn't just a miracle. It was also about overcoming sin, because sin had effects in your physical body, had effects in the world around you. And they were looking at it in that way. And so Jesus is speaking in that context and in that culture. And so he's bringing all of this together, the forgiveness and the healing. And for him, it's not two things. It's kind of one thing. And I think that is remarkable. Anthony, how did you, like when you grew up and you heard about, how did you hear about forgiveness for the first time?
Biblical forgiveness or like
either one,
my family forgiveness?
Like when you did something really naughty and your mom and dad forgave you.
Well, I grew up in a different time, in a different community, very rural. So forgiveness started with a belt.
Okay.
I mean, being honest, I'd screw up and my dad would whip his belt off like he was a rodeo cowboy and get a good spanking. And then I would feel like I need to ask for forgiveness because something hurts. That's crazy. I just had a chat with a mom last night, and she was like, "I liked it when my dad hit me. It meant that I knew that I did something wrong, and I need to ask for forgiveness." I just had this chat last night.
That's a
I don't think
wild
it's.
chat.
I don't think this is
Ministry's
appropriate,
great.
or I'm
Yeah.
stacking hands on it. That it's
Yeah.
good. But that was my introduction to forgiveness. Was
Yeah.
I did something wrong, and there was a consequence. And then I needed to make it right with my dad or my mom.
So the consequence led you to forgiveness,
Yeah.
or asking for forgiveness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
asking for forgiveness. I'm not saying it's right. You asked me though. My
did.
first experience was with it.
No, that's
my
good.
mom had a paddle with little dots on it,
Yeah.
and the darker the color of dots was the more swats I got. So if I lied, it was like light blue, and if I had stole, cheat, and listened to rock and roll music, it was like a dark blue. And that was more swats.
So how did
That's quite the way to kick off the podcast.
yeah. So how has your view of forgiveness evolved over time from that
That's
point?
maybe a better question. Yeah, I met Jesus like in 6th grade.
Okay.
And the presence of God blew my mind in one moment, and I knew He was real and He was for me. And that felt different than like the parent thing growing up.
Wow.
And I just experienced His presence, overwhelming. And I started crying. I wasn't a crying type of kid. And I was just blown away. And my girlfriend who led me to the Lord was like,
You had a girlfriend in 6th grade?
"Yeah, dude."
He was cool.
That was cool. Yeah. And she led me to the Lord, and she was like, "Man, like God's like right here." And I was like, "Whoa, yeah, like for real." And so that was my first experience of forgiveness, because she had like a pastor who like came running up and was chatting with me, like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm crying." And I think and he was like, "You just ask the Lord for forgiveness." I was like, "From what?" And he's like, "Everything." And so that was like my,
Yeah.
okay, like everything. And so I just started getting into practice, and I had a great youth pastor then right after that I was connected with, and he was like, "Hey, like let's talk about confession. Let's talk about," and I'm like, "What? Confession? Like to you?" And so we just talked about that. And so I started understanding forgiveness internally versus an external, like SWAT. And a slap, or I did something wrong and now I need to make it right. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I need to be accountable to my thoughts, feelings, and actions, and start a conversation with the Lord on it. So that was a wild ride for the question you asked me. I don't know that that's
love
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
That was it for me. Yeah.
I think about like being like preschool age, right? And you like hit your friend or something because you're mad you wanted the crayons.
Yeah.
And they had them or took them or whatever. My story is much more mild than yours, I think. That's fair.
I'm okay not being invited back to the podcast.
No, I love
understand.
it. But I remember, like, you hit someone and, tell them you're sorry.
Yeah.
And then, like, the other instruction is, like, say, I forgive you. And it's like this, like, almost meaningless exchange of, like, I'm just supposed to do this.
It's just a script.
It's just a script. And I think that was, like, my first introduction to it. And kind of then as I got older and you experience things in your life, and I'm like, so I just have to say, I forgive you? Like I just have to do that. Is that what I do because I believe in
Like there's
Jesus?
the power in the words to be able to do that.
Yeah. And then like my internal questioning being like, but really, is there power in that? And like, do I really forgive them?
Right.
What am I doing when I say I forgive you? It just becoming so messy and not really understanding like I don't think I was ever taught like the need for forgiveness. Like what am I actually?
And I don't think
just
I
saying
understood
it.
even when I was a kid that forgiveness was less cognitive and more emotional, right? The kid, I'm not a child psychologist, but we're training our kids for behavior we want in the future.
Totally,
right?
yeah.
And so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, forgive them, that thing. But we're training them a cognitive thing. This is the thing that you do.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started getting older and had remorse and sin that was recognizable in me, I was like, oh, like forgiveness has an emotional, spiritual reality in my heart, not my physical heart, but in my spirit, in my soul, and that took a little while. But I think that we all train our kids like don't do that. Hug your aunt. I don't want to hug my aunt. Well, we hug our family when we come around, Well, I don't.
Yeah.
No, you do. You do. And then we hope they're huggers when they grow up, It's
Right.
the same thing. We modeling behavior for them.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? You have young kids. Like, have you started to journey into this area with them yet?
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of in that stage that you were describing of like, Greta hits her sister. And, it's like or she, I model forgiveness for her because I mess up and ask her for forgiveness. So we've been doing that. I don't know that it's like, at a depth that actually is doing something yet. But I think the model is definitely working because she will sometimes, even if I mess up and I'm like, harsh with her or I yell at her for something when I should have been more calm, she'll, before I even ask for forgiveness, she'll just look at me and say, I forgive you. She'll acknowledge, like, Mom, you did something wrong. You should be asking for forgiveness.
Wait, is she playing the game on you?
She kind of calls me out. So at least as a script, it's kind of working. Like where she'll notice when I've done something wrong, she should say I forgive you even before I say sorry. So sometimes it really convicts me. So I'm like,
Totally.
I should have said sorry already. So I feel like at least at a surface level. That's happening, but my kids are still 1 and 4, so I feel like
very young.
It can't be that deep yet. And I feel like that's probably how it started with me as a kid too. I grew up with parents who loved Jesus, so I think forgiveness always felt pretty real to me from a young age, and I don't think I had a moment like Anthony where I was like blown away by God's forgiveness, which I'm not sure then if that means that it has never really hit me as deeply as it should because I've kind of grown up with it, or maybe that's a gift, that I never experienced life not feeling God's forgiveness. I think though what I'm not as good at, I think because of that I'm quick to forgive, but I think what I'm not as good at is being quick to reconcile and like actually repair and heal.
Yeah.
Like I think those are kind of two different things. I was actually talking with Tammy at dinner last night, and I was asking her like, what if I feel like I've truly forgiven somebody in my heart before God? Like I was in a really intense prayer moment with God, and I felt like, okay, I'm finally giving this up to you. I'm finally forgiving this person. I'm not doing it to their face, but I'm doing it before God, and I feel like it's really real. But then the next week, I feel really sad and upset and disappointed about the same situation again. I'm like, does that mean that moment was actually not real and I actually didn't forgive and I need to do it all over again? Or, and she was like, well, I think there's a difference between, forgiveness and healing are linked, but they're not exactly the same. So I think you can forgive somebody without having fully healed. And there's a difference between like stewing in bitterness and wanting like bad things to happen to them, and being resentful versus just being sad and disappointed still.
Yeah.
And I've realized that in my own life that I think I can be semi-quick to let go of like resentment, but not as quick to let go of like the disappointment and sadness. And I tend to like to shove it under the rug and just pretend like we're all okay now.
Would you say that you're not healed yet of it then? And I'm not pushing on your
probably
theology of it, but like...
Yeah, probably. I think... Yeah, so I don't know what that means of the forgiveness. Like, is the forgiveness not fully there? I'm not really sure exactly how that's linked. But yeah, I think there are some things where... I don't know, where maybe confrontation and like actually not shoving it under the rug would actually probably heal it.
Yeah, I think
that's scary.
I think it's interesting. In this passage too, like I think we see that Jesus' forgiveness comes before the healing.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah,
and I
that's
wonder
true.
if
Like you're
there's
saying,
something in there
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
this is
That's true.
like forgiving is a pathway to healing.
That's
I don't know
true,
that's the
yeah.
only pathway to healing in situations, but that there is that piece of like, hey, before we can fully go in
That's
to
true.
these places and heal them, like we have to release it. And I think some
Yeah.
of forgiveness is a release maybe
Yeah.
of things from our hands into God's, of like, I'm not going to be the one who makes this just.
Yeah.
You are God, and so I'm going to give it to you. And then he has a way to come in like, okay, now that it's surrendered, essentially, I can heal.
Yeah. That's really
Yeah,
good.
I think there's different things that are linked, but they're not linear. Like, I think that the idea of forgiving, which is releasing an offense, right? Releasing something. And then the idea of how do I feel inside? Am I feeling good about that person? Am I feeling good about the interaction? Am I feeling good about where I am? Healing is what we're talking about, but then there's also reconciliation.
Yeah. Which is like another
Which
step
is another whole thing. Meaning, are we okay? Have we patched it up, and are we in a good thing? And I don't think they're linear in the sense of you do one and complete it, and then the other, and then complete it, and then the other.
That's good.
But I also do think they're linked. It's not like they're completely independent of one another. And like reconciliation depends on both parties.
Yeah.
And if one person doesn't feel like they have anything that they've done wrong, and the other person does, that can kind of get wonky.
Yeah.
Other times, it can affect how we feel inside. Like you think, wow, you're kind of callous. Like you
Or blind.
or blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so those things I think can all kind of get in that. And so it can look and feel, I think, a little bit different.
Do you guys think that forgiveness should always lead to reconciliation, or are there going to be instances in our life, like, do we think that for everything that's like the ultimate goal, or are there things in our life where it's like, okay, it is okay just for me to release this thing and forgive, and I'm not ever going to step into reconciliation? I think that's like when we think about big things that people have to
big
forgive.
things.
Yeah.
Like, you've been really, really wronged, or someone you love has been really, really wronged, or hurt, or like there's murder. There's like,
Right.
there's really big things
Right.
in our lives, in people's lives who go to our church
Yep,
of
absolutely.
this sense. And I think that's a big question for people.
Yeah.
I do too. I think I would answer it in two ways. I would say if we're saying in the kingdom, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Unity and reconciliation are enormous values in the kingdom of heaven. And so in an ideal sense, in an ideal world, under the ideal leadership of a selfless king, yes, I think we get to a place of where, I don't think Jesus lets it stop at a point. He brings it, he would bring it to the end of that. But we live in a very fallen place that's not fully there. And there are people who will continue to hurt us or continue to do the same things again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And in that, maybe the best we can do is release them from it and forgive them as far as it is to us.
Yeah.
But we can't really complete the circuit given what, the playing field we're on. And I don't think we should feel horrible about that necessarily.
Yeah. That's how I was thinking the scripture, as far as it is with me.
Right.
To be at peace with those around me, right? And so Scripture calls me to release at some point, but that other party, like you're saying, doesn't have to do what I'm asking.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what Jamie said, I listened to Jamie's message on forgiveness.
Wasn't that a brave message?
It was good. It was really good.
I thought he was very brave.
It's really
And
good.
I love him anyways, but I love just his authenticity to say,
Yep.
I'm not really good at this.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, feeling like a forgiveness loser, I'm like, okay, cool. At least I'm on Jamie's team. You know what I mean? But then he really helped. But one of the things he said is that forgiveness is not an option for a Christian.
Right.
Like it's not an optional thing. But the optional thing is the reconciliation from the other person. And that, I think, is the hard thing for me. I would really love to control people and, and be like, no, I said I'm sorry. Now you say I forgive you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the kids.
Remember? This is
Yeah.
how we
Yeah.
do
And
it.
then, we go play pinball together.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we have a good time,
Yeah.
And that's has been almost zero my experience.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Christian and non-Christian.
Yeah.
That's just been true. And that's been like growing up as an adult and learning this stuff and being in ministry, I'm like, holy cow, why is there not a giant chasm between those two when actually a lot of the responses between Christians and non-Christians and
Yeah.
forgiveness, in my experience, have been very similar. That's been kind of sad.
Why do we think that is? is it just like, I mean, human nature? Like we like to
just
be
so
bitter.
hard.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I'm probably cynical in this.
Just in this.
Just in this. I'm not really.
You are not a cynical person
Nah.
at all. Disclaimer, no.
I don't know. I've been in ministry 20 years.
Yeah.
Teenagers, kids. I actually think very few Christians want to do what the Bible says. Very few.
Oof.
I know that's.
I mean, it's hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
No joke, it's hard. I mean, the three of us, Sarah, I don't know your experience, we've been through tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And had to figure things out and do the hard work. And we have committed ourselves to doing it the way Jesus would do it in the New Testament. And it's really hard, and that's not always worked out for us in like a clean cut. On Christian, non-Christian, doesn't matter. And I think it's because a church is a cool social club for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if it's a social club, when it gets really hard, yeah, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also, forgiveness costs something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can cost a lot.
Yeah.
It can cost a lot.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
I mean, I think there's forgiveness in like, oops, I tripped over something here, and you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, no problem, right?
Yeah. I dented your wall on accident.
I dented your wall on an accident, right? And then there's forgiveness of like, I really knew you really well, and I knew what would hurt you the most in this moment, and I chose to do it.
Yeah. Ugh.
And I really hurt you, and like I made your life really hard for a season.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Sure.
I did that to you, and I've now come and said, hey, I'm sorry. That was probably a challenge for you. And in those moments, you're looking at it and you're tempted to think you have no idea what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You have absolutely no idea how much that hurt. You have absolutely no idea what I went through. You have absolutely no idea. And the temptation is to say, I need you to. I need you to feel pain like I felt pain. I need you to understand the depth of pain that you caused.
Yeah.
The reality is forgiveness is forgoing that. And it's really saying, yeah, you don't. But, you know, I didn't really know the pain that I've caused Jesus either.
Yeah.
And I've undercut my deal how many times with him. And so I'm going to release you from it. And that costs you something. It costs you, in one sense, it costs you the emotional satisfaction of a broken person
Yeah.
near you. It also can cause you to sacrifice peace, because this person, if they don't understand it, could probably do it again. And so there's a certain sense of trepidation that you might have. I think it can cost a lot, and I like for me, I am pretty quick to forgive. The challenge I face is I am a super forward-looking person. And so, like, I am less concerned about how sorry you are. And I'm more concerned about what are you going to do next. And so for me, I don't need you to feel bad. But I need to know, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
Are we good? Have we figured it out? Is this fixed or is it not fixed? And I think that probably undershoots a lot of what Jesus is getting at too. Because I'm not dealing maybe in the other person's emotions. Do you know what I mean, as much either. And so I think I probably am shallow in that.
You're probably just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's hard. Jamie said forgiveness costs something, like you did. And he said, Old Testament, it cost a life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I think when he was saying on stage, when we forgive someone, something in us dies, just like an Old Testament animal died, or just like Jesus on the cross. And when he said that, I was like, oh gosh. And I don't know if it was for you, but in the message, I was like reliving all the really big forgiveness pieces.
Yeah.
That I've done. And actually, we were chatting before the podcast, and we were like, I'm not even sure if I've really done that fully, you know, like, and so I think, as I think about that, I'm like, well, something in me dies, and that costs a lot.
Yeah.
Like trust in me dies for that person, when I had a wild amount of trust, and now I have very little. I'm like, oh, that. And so I think that for me, you're forward looking, I'm fun looking. I don't really care what's coming next, as long as it's fun. Can
Yeah.
you just, you know? And so, if trust in me dies,
Yeah.
I don't trust that we're gonna have fun again together. And that's just like my high value on life. Is like we should go have fun and we should go do fun things and enjoy this. And when that dies, that punches me in the gut, and I sit and sulk emotionally, and I'm like, I can't have fun with that person anymore because I can't trust them. And I think that's the thing that dies in me. That's probably the biggest part of forgiveness, emotional, physical, whatever the reason. You know, I can't look at that person and be like, I don't think I can trust you to have fun with me safely.
Yeah.
That's the reconciliation piece.
Yep.
That if not handled and finished, that relationship feels kind of done.
Anybody ever known anybody that really never forgave? Like, really almost at all?
Oh, it was like their MO, like they
Yeah,
lived,
like their MO is like, I just don't do that.
All I could think about was that grumpy guy from that comes out of the trash can. What's his name?
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what that person would look like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can think of.
I don't feel like I know anyone who is like a character trait of theirs, but like I can look and be like, oh, I don't think. I mean, I think we all own that, and part of ourselves are like, I don't think I ever forgave for that situation. No, I don't.
I've known a few, and it's interesting because like I've known people who will go back 40, 50 years and say, and they'll give you the list. This person did this, this person did this, this person did this, this person did this, and an important part of interacting with them is being patient enough to let them get through the list because it's become an identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their unforgiveness has become part of who they are. It's not just what they did, but now it's part of who they are, and they carry it. And the thing that I've always wanted to say to some of these people would be, these people did really bad things to you, and that really hurt, and you're right. But they're not paying for it. You are.
Yeah.
You're the one sitting with all of this and carrying all of this and holding on to all of this. They're not.
Yeah.
They hurt you and kept going.
Yep.
And forgiveness, we think it's possibly a weakness or possibly we're giving up or we're ceding something to somebody that has hurt us. In reality, we're freeing ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I just I don't know. It's something that when I've been around some of those folks, they're a prisoner of their past. They have put chains around themselves, and they can't get free of it. And I think it's stark, honestly. Like when you're around that, I've like in my car driving home, I've been like, I love that person. I'm really sorry for them. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that life.
It's like a gift for you to get a glimpse of how shriveled up a person's life could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every one of us, maybe not. I was going to say a giant statement, then maybe you'll look at me like I'm done. Every one of us has one of those things stuck in us,
I feel like probably.
right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think it's maybe not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it's
like
like
you just can't let it go.
it's
you
the
know.
thorn in Paul's flesh, whatever. That
Right.
could have just been unforgiveness. He'd just been like, I'm really mad. That tent stake guy slammed my thumb with his, when he was putting, you know what I mean? Like I think every one of us has one of those things that the Lord's working on, but those people are stuck there forever. And we have the hope of having some people pull out of that, you know? Like the Lord could rescue them. They could look at them like this guy and say, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
I don't want to be forgiven. I just want to be healed.
Yeah. I think in like walking with people who are working on forgiveness, there's something really powerful when someone knows your situation and can look at you and acknowledge your pain. And I think that's really important for people to be able to forgive, especially really big things in their life, is for someone to look at them and say, hey, what you experienced actually was awful.
Yeah.
That actually was terrible. And I know it hurt you. and like your hurt is real.
Mm-hmm.
But then to be able to take that and say, but holding on to this is hurting you more.
Mm-hmm.
And helping people see that. I think that's been powerful in my own life in situations. But just knowing some people who are walking through really hard things, just someone seeing their pain. Maybe it's the first time that that's ever happened for someone.
For you, was
I
that
think that's powerful.
you don't have to say necessarily,
Yeah.
but was it Blake, a friend, or was it a counselor? Like a
I've
mental
had
health
both
Okay.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's situations definitely where I actually was telling my story to a woman's Bible study this morning, and I was going through my story and thinking about doing this podcast afterwards and all of that. And I had this period in my life where I had was essentially working for a startup company, right? I had invested myself fully in the startup company, and then all of a sudden it went under and I never got paid from them. Like I had left my full-time job, was like working, like I had worked like 2 jobs at a time. Anyways, like I'm like knee deep, head deep, whatever in this thing. And then it goes under and I never got paid for like, months of work. And I held on to bitterness for a really long time. And in that situation, it was Blake who looked at me and said, like, this sucks.
Note to self: always pay Ellie.
Always pay me. I will be bitter. But it was like I was pregnant. I mean, our life turned out, it was like a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a lot of bitterness in me, and I was becoming a very bitter person.
You could see it change in your life.
Oh yeah, it was leaking everywhere. It was
Blake
leaking
was
into
telling
my
us.
marriage. Was he?
No,
He
I'm
should.
just kidding.
Leaking into my marriage, leaking into my parenting, leaking into everything. And he did at one point, like, hey, this sucks, but we gotta move past it. And like lovingly, he probably said it way better than that. He's much, gentler of a person. But just someone like seeing me in that and saying like, I know that really hurt you,
What if
was so important.
the Christian thing that I was saying, like people just don't take the Bible serious and don't really want to do it? What if I'm wrong?
First of all.
Yeah.
Or what if we just don't have courageous people in our lives? What if we read the Bible and go, yeah, I'm like trying that, I'm doing the best I can, but we don't have any courageous person looking us in the eye and saying, Sarah, you are different. That has changed you.
Yeah.
I love you. You got to do something. you got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I had some pain a couple years ago, and I would tell people, and they're like, "Yeah, you were wronged," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was,"
So then you
and it would
just,
feel
like,
good, right?
commiserate together.
And I had a bunch of people like, "You were wronged. That is no good." And I
Yeah.
remember Ryan Chevrolet in a meeting said, "You're different," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You're grumpy. You're short with people. That's not who you are." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I've been through some stuff." He's like, "Yeah, I get it," and he said, "You have to figure that out."
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm grateful today.
Yeah.
Because I have lots of friends and nothing wrong with them. Nobody said that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just agreed with me in my pain.
Yeah.
But I needed someone courageous to look at me and
Also
say,
important.
cool, really sorry. Like, you need a hammer and nails to build a bridge and get over it because that's what you're going to have to do. And I'll help you. And so he just really pushed me harder than anybody else did instead of just agreeing with my hurt. And I think, what if we just need courageous people to look us in the eye and say, cool, but you're wrong. What are you going to do?
That's
Yeah.
good. That's really good.
Oh, it's kind of like how you were saying, Scott, how if you hold on to unforgiveness for so long, it becomes your whole identity. Like in those 2 stories, it was like it's seeping out into every part of you. It's all of a sudden not, you thought it was going to stay contained to this situation. You thought it was safe and like it doesn't really hurt anybody. It's to hold on to this. It's kind of just in me. But then all of a sudden, like slowly it starts seeping out into everything. And like it changes from like I was a victim in this one situation and that was really real and it really hurt and I was a real victim in this situation.
Right.
And somebody really hurt me to like now I'm a perpetual victim in every situation instead of knowing your actual identity. Like you bring that identity into every situation. And then it's just worse for you. Like you are keeping yourself in bondage unnecessarily and you're only hurting yourself.
And I think the deeper difficulty is That's 100% true. You're in bondage, but you become more like the perpetrator that hurt you
True.
than Jesus.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
That's
you
good.
start hurting others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it becomes, instead of spreading what Jesus is putting in you, you're spreading what the person that hurt you
That's
put
so
in you.
true.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
like the vast majority of like dads who beat their kids were kids who were beaten by their dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People
Right.
hurt people.
Yeah. And my dad broke the cycle. And I am so grateful for that. His dad was incredibly physically abusive to my dad and all of his brothers. And my dad broke that cycle. And I forever am grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I've known so many people who it's a knee-jerk reaction. It becomes the air they're in,
Yeah.
and they don't know how to get out of it. And it becomes something that gets transferred.
Mm-hmm.
And so forgiveness is super important. Like this isn't a nice to have. Like this isn't just kind of the Christian bracelet you put on. Like this is a real thing. And it changes how you live your life, and it changes the quality of your life dramatically.
It definitely
Yeah.
changes your quality. Like that's what
Yeah.
I was noticing, but it took Ryan saying, "Do you know who you're becoming?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you used to be fun all the time, and now you're taking offense quickly to everybody
Yep.
and looking for someone to, like you were saying, Sarah. Like I just wanted to be a victim,
Yeah.
and I think that stems actually in it becomes sin, and it becomes the sin of
Oh,
pride,
yeah.
right? That you're proud to own this like hurt badge, victim badge, and now you're like, well, people just keep screwing things up for me, and
Yeah.
and so.
In that accent too.
Yeah,
Just kidding. Always.
always in that accent. But I didn't know that it was sin in me. I thought it was hurt in me.
Yeah.
Right.
And to have someone say like, yeah, well, it's actually sin.
It was hurt at the beginning.
It
for
was
sure.
hurt, yeah.
But then it turns into something else. Like
Yeah.
it becomes dangerous. I think it wasn't dangerous. It was like a real
thing.
honest reaction
Yeah.
at the beginning. And that's okay to like feel hurt. That's not sin. But then the unforgiveness, I think, is what it
Yes.
makes it dangerous.
I'm glad you
Yes,
said that
that's
because
a
I
good
didn't want anyone
delineation.
to
Yeah.
feel like they've been hurt, now they're sinning.
Yeah, but I think we've said that multiple times.
yeah.
So I think that's pretty clear. But then it does quickly turn into like, okay, this is not okay to act like this anymore. Like
Yeah.
you're bringing everybody down now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I just think like how much does the enemy love unforgiveness?
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah. Shapes generations, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I never even really thought about it like that. It was good.
I think it's interesting. Like if you think back to the garden, I always go back to the garden. I love it.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as Adam and Eve sin, like God's like, oh, counterattack, I'm going to forgive. Which is like not he covers them. Like, and he says he covers them with garments of skin. So like he sacrificed something. It
Yeah.
cost him something. He covers them. That's not what the enemy was probably expecting,
Yeah.
And I just think of like how amazing it is that like God models that like quick forgiveness in that moment for us. Like he shows us like this is the way of my kingdom. This is the way of me.
Yeah. And forgiveness has a severity.
Yeah.
There's an animal that died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His creation.
Right, his creation right there, and there's and I think at a minimum there's a severity, and there's also in one generation we moved from I ate a piece of fruit to I killed my brother,
100%.
Yeah.
and I mean
Goes
like,
quick.
yeah, I mean like that's escalation, man. That is like
Yeah.
0 to 60.
Escalated quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kane, you're
I
not
mean,
the
and I'm
same.
like, wow.
Something's changed in you.
Could we have
Wow.
stuck
I
with the
murdered my
fruit?
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think about the generation.
Yeah, I mean it's fast. Like it isn't like it took 1,000 years. I
Yeah.
mean it happens, man.
Yeah.
I love my dad, and I think back in the day it was okay to spank your kids, and like
Yeah.
he didn't beat me, he
Right.
spanked his kids, and but my dad never once said I'm sorry. I grew up like he didn't do things wrong, into which, and I try to model for my kids quickly
That's good.
because I want in their generation.
Yeah.
Because I mean we're all kind of screw ups, right? Every one of us does something, and
We're humans.
yeah, but I think my dad's generation was you screw up, but you just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I want the next generation to screw up, and then I pull my son aside a lot, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, gosh, I'm really sorry. and he's 11, so
Okay.
he's with me, and he's like, yeah, that wasn't cool. I'm like, yeah, no, and I'm sorry, and he's like, I forgive you, and I find that a
great.
lot, and so I'm hoping in one generation
Yep.
That's
to just
awesome.
even instill that. I mean, even if you
Yeah.
just think about, I don't want to bring a ton of politics, but how crazy our world is right now.
Yeah.
Like, what if we just started teaching the next generation that when they mess up, they fess up? That's what
Yeah.
Mom would say.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cute, right? And so if the generation right behind us learned that they mess up and they immediately fess up, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Like, I think there would be a different set of peace out there in our world instead of lying and covering and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and then becoming, like what you said, a totally different identity.
Yeah.
And that identity that you live out of is not godly.
Yeah.
Is there a person that's really hard to forgive? Like, what's the qualities of a person that's hard to forgive?
I mean, repeat offenders, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
sure.
think that's the hardest.
Again and again.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody who's not like repentant or like
Yes.
is not saying sorry. I think it's easy to forgive somebody who's like coming before you and is like humbling themselves and is really, but somebody who won't humble themselves, I think, is really hard.
Yeah.
One fake act of asking for forgiveness, and I'm done. I have a really hard time.
Okay.
Like when I know it's
So
not.
you're a one and doneer.
No, when
As your friend, this is good to know.
No.
Yeah,
Not,
exactly.
not what I said. That's not what I said.
So much makes sense to me
one
now,
chance.
Anthony.
No, someone's asked
When
for
it's
forgiveness fake.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really sorry about that. I was just trying to this, and you took it as that. And so if you were offended, I'm sorry. No, you didn't. You didn't just apologize to me. You rationalized what you did, and you said it was my fault. And when that happens, I'm like, whoop. That's the person I have a hard time with.
Yep.
Wait. You're gonna like bamboozle me into this being my deal? This is your deal. And for me, I'm like, okay, you're trying to outsmart me, and I'm not that smart, but I caught you, and we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk to our kids about like it's a very common topic in our house right now. Our kids are getting a little bit older than yours, Sarah. They're like 10, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
So we're starting to enter into like you're in real life now,
Yes.
kind of,
Real kids.
But like, okay, we say sorry and then we show that we're sorry.
Oh.
Like in terms of like, if you're sorry for something, we try our best not to act that way again, right?
Yeah.
And so,
That's good.
if you say sorry for, throwing something at the window and then 5 minutes later you throw something at the window again, I don't think you're actually sorry.
Yeah.
And so that's something big that we're working on right now. And for me, it's like that type of thing that's hard to forgive. Like not my kids. I love them unconditionally, but people in life when it's like, I'm sorry. And then like, oh, we're just going to do it again 5 minutes
Yeah.
later. Like what
Right.
the heck?
That's hard too, because with your kids, you have so much grace. You're like, you're 4. You forgot that you weren't supposed to throw it out the window
Right.
again, and you
Right.
did it again, and you're still sorry, so you have grace. But when you look at a full-blown adult, and you're like, you're 35 years old, and you're doing the exact same thing 10 minutes later, that's I think I have less grace for adults who still act like kids.
Yeah.
I sound terrible.
No, I mean,
No,
it's
it's
real.
just
Like you're a
honest.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
feel like a
It's
honest.
real
horrible
life.
human.
And like you've lived life,
Yeah.
like this is real experience stuff. So so we forgive.
Yep.
How do we move on? I think this is a common question of, do we have to forget now? Like, where do we go from the point where I say, God, I release this into your hands. Like I'm giving this to you. I'm trusting you with it. It has cost me something to surrender this to you. Where do we go from there?
Yeah, let's not get past that
Okay.
because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, forgiveness isn't just, I'm not going to think about that anymore.
Right.
It's, I am actually choosing to release it to God.
Yes. What does that look like?
I am actually going to give this situation to God and say, here, this is yours. It means that the superintending of this situation and the judgment of this situation and the correction of this situation is no longer mine but his.
Right.
So I am completely handing the jurisdiction of this particular situation to you. We do that in our lives in general and say everything is mine is yours and all that. But this is a moment when we get very specific. And like there were some people that did some naughty things to me a while back.
Naughty.
And it took me a while, and it was one of the first times in my life that I had a process of forgiveness with God. Like I would start off every morning forgiving them, and I would mouth the word and I would stop because I didn't mean it. And I would catch myself and I would literally say, God, I don't mean it. And I want to mean it. What has to happen that I can mean it? And over the course of, and this probably doesn't speak well of me, but 9 months to be able every single day, it progressed from being able to say, I don't want vengeance. I genuinely in my heart don't want vengeance. I genuinely in my heart don't want them to have to pay a price for this. I don't want any bad things to happen to them, but I don't want to ever see them again.
Yeah.
Could you make sure they're fine, but I never see them? You know what I mean?
Could you just do that for me?
I just don't want them in my
I like
life.
your parameters.
Yeah, and then you get to a place of where God says, yeah, but I want to redeem them. And I want to change them. Would you pray for that? I guess. And so, and you get to where you mean that.
Yeah.
And then you're praying for their redemption. You're praying for these things. And then God brings you to the thing and said, if they completely repented, would you reconcile with them? Yeah. But they're not really going to do that, and so you still can keep them away from me, right?
Yeah.
Because I just don't want them in my life. And you get to a place of where over months, and I mean daily prayers of where I'm doing this to where you're like, yeah, I would, and it places you in a posture in that. And so I think a lot of times we think forgiveness is just letting it go. It's not letting it go. It's actually handing it to Jesus, and it's being willing to pray for these people and being willing to, as long as it takes until it's no longer an issue, that it's a daily prayer and that you are releasing it every single day or even multiple times a day.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
I just didn't want you to slide past that. I thought that was an important.
It is important. I think it's important for people to know and to know that this is, it's okay to do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's actually good and healthy to do it over and over again.
Right.
This is not a one and done, okay, I say the thing and then it's over. We have memory. We have, our bodies hold on to things more than we think they do. We respond based on trauma that we've had. And I think that there's going to be times where things come up again and you might have to forgive again.
Right.
I think that the beauty is that Jesus' forgiveness is once and for all. And so we're not, when we forgive, we're not making it so that now that I've forgiven them, now God can forgive them. He's already done that piece. They have to receive his forgiveness, right? But this is a process between me and another person, another one of God's children, because I follow Jesus and I want to model what he does, I guess. But I think that's important. But I think the point I was trying to, when you brought that up, is exactly what you said of I don't think we can forget easily.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we should forget.
Yeah.
I think that's the question. Should we forget?
No. No. Because, I think it's something for our brains to protect our bodies. It's if you forget that lions eat humans, you might go stand by them again, right? And the reality is that there are lions out there that look like humans. They're trying to eat you. So you got to remember there's pain associated with the person, and you should protect yourself at some level. I think you should protect yourself.
Yeah. What if?
Yeah.
You were around a bunch of lions that would hurt you, but you had a really enormous lion that was with you. That they aren't going to challenge. Because when I've been hurt, I have been under the misconception that I'm alone. And this person was able to hurt me alone. Where if I'm with Jesus, because I look at what you're saying, I think you're right. I think there has to almost be a left brain, right brain thing here. There's in one sense, I have to be smart enough to know, not
Science nerd.
Science nerd, yeah, exactly.
There's
Thank you.
boundaries.
Yeah,
you guys do.
like I can't just continue to get punched in the face. There's a point where
Right.
you have to be smart enough not to get punched in the face. The other side of it is realizing that Jesus wants me to get to a place of where being punched in the face doesn't hurt me anymore.
Whoa.
And that isn't because it doesn't hurt, but it's because his healing is greater than their pain. And I think that's a place we can get. I look at Jesus, and Jesus was hurt all the time,
Yeah.
badly. And he was willing to do it, and had some boundaries, and had some, withdrawing and something in there. So I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, though, that he found a secret of being with the Father that enabled him to do something that most of us can't do.
Yeah.
And I want that. I want to be able to find that. And I have in brief moments, but I lose it.
Yeah.
And I have to go find it again.
Yeah. And I think sorry.
Well, I was just thinking, like, that feels like ultimate kingdom healing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And if I were super transparent, I have a hard time really living and believing and sitting in that.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather protect myself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is very godly and very kingdom. And I think it takes courage.
But what if protecting yourself is actually the thing that stops you from getting that?
You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where the Holy Spirit comes in, and
Yep.
we ask for his leadership of our lives. And because I think there are going to be situations where he's like, hey, you shouldn't really go back there again.
Right. I
Like,
agree.
you shouldn't. And I think there's going to be other situations where he's like, you should give that another try.
Yeah.
Like, I think about if I don't currently, in case my sisters are listening to this, and they're like, if I have a beef with my sister,
Yeah.
I think he's going to want me to try again,
Right.
Right.
And I think it's even, it can even be inside. Like, I don't have to let that hurt me because Jesus is with me.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
whether that
Like the
person
healing.
comes around or not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to live in that.
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
live outside of that, and I don't have to even have a self-protective posture. You can do whatever you want to me. I'm not necessarily going to continue to go and enable you,
Yeah.
but you can, whether I want you to or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to choose to live in that. I'm going to choose to live in something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the kicker with that is, like, from your story, the way that you even get there is that, like, daily time with God over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was really convicting for me, because I think a lot of us are like, this isn't working, but, like, we prayed once about it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like the, like, Malcolm Gladwell, he says that it takes 10,000 hours, I think, to be able to be, like, a master at something.
Yeah.
So whether you're, like, learning to sing or play soccer or teach or something like that, it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. And I think it's the same thing. Like, a lot of us are like, why am I not good at these Christian things, like forgiveness and love and selflessness and generosity? But it's like, okay, you've tried 3 times. Really, I think a lot of us get
good.
frustrated when we really haven't tried that many times. Like,
Yeah.
it takes, like, practice, like actual practice, as if you're, like, back in high school and at football practice or band practice or something, and you're doing it every day, and that's the only way that you're, like, that you're getting better, is because you're doing it every day. And I think a lot of us kind of pretend like we do it every day, but if we actually looked at our schedules, we realize, like, oh my gosh, I think I've only spent some good quality time with God, like, once this week,
Yeah.
or once this month. Like, if we're actually honest, but then we're getting angry that it's not working. But we
That's so
really
good.
haven't been doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's so
We've been
good.
thinking we've been doing it.
Yeah, you like, since you resonate with the message, and you go to
Thought about
church
it at
and
the last 10 minutes of
yeah,
service.
you think about it a little bit, but it's like,
I wrote it on the prayer card.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not
but
coming
it
yet.
hasn't
You should do that,
actually-
yeah.
yeah, it hasn't
That's fair.
actually, like, penetrated your whole soul,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which takes so much time
Yeah.
and energy
Totally.
to get there.
Yeah. And I think as you say that, Sarah, it makes me think of, like, how much God loves when we bring the specifics to him. Like, and, like, that time with him is not meant to be a generality either, of, like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just, like, I'm just going to let the Bible fall open where it may, and then that will be the word for today. Like, cool when that happens. But, like, bring it to him.
Yeah.
Like, bring it and tell him, like, Scott, you've talked about this so many times, like in messages, and like, tell him what you're mad about. Tell him what your day looks like. Tell him all of these things. Like, he's going to meet you in that. And to your point, Sarah, like when we do it over and over and over again, like he is so faithful to show up in it when we try. Yeah. Forgiveness is hard.
So hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, it's hard.
What type of person is hard for you to forgive? We talked about how it's hard for us to kind of ask for it. Or no, we talked about that. Who's hard for you to ask to forgive you?
Oh, people I love a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
I feel like those people, at least for me, and I don't, this is going to sound like lofty, I think. I don't mean it to sound that way. The people who I truly, truly love in my life, like God has allowed me to see them through his eyes. And so I think that when I hurt them, and I need forgiveness from them, there's a shame in that of like, I love these people so much, and I care, I see them, I see the real them, and I actually can see like how I've hurt them. And then stepping back into that, like, it just is painful. And it's hard, I think, for me.
How about you, Sarah?
I feel I kind of echo all those thoughts. The shame piece, I think, is a huge. We could talk for probably another hour
podcast
about shame around it. But yeah, I think with I really don't know. I think I feel the same way, where it's people that I'm really, really close to, and that I really love, because like the offense always cuts deeper when it's from somebody that, you know, I was really supposed to love. So like if I hurt Josiah, or if I hurt one of my kids, or I feel especially responsible to love them. Like I'm the wife, I'm the mom, I, like we're supposed to love each other. That's our job. So I think like the offense especially cuts deep. So I think it's harder to ask for forgiveness.
How about you?
Yeah. I think I don't think I have a hard time asking for forgiveness from many people. And
I've experienced you to do that very well.
But I'm trying to figure out why in real time right now. But you know the Enneagram thing, like I'm a 7, which is like, and I'm a 7-wing 7.
Woohoo!
Yeah, which is like I want to have fun, and then I really want to have fun.
And when you're stressed, you really want to have more fun.
I want to have more fun. And,
All you do is have fun.
That's kind of an amazing personality.
but 7s run away from bad things, and the one area as a 7 or whatever, my personality type, I don't want to run away from that, from the thing that I need to ask for forgiveness, because I really feel like it like binds up the amount of fun. And, it's so shallow, but
it's not.
I love it.
Really
it's actually
not.
rich.
Right?
I love
it's
it.
joy.
Yeah.
Like that's not shallow at all.
I lead a couple teams here, and I have to make lots of decisions, and I make a lot of them wrong, and I feel like I'm quick to be like, oh my gosh, I just like totally screwed up. Like, guys, I'm really sorry. Or with the executive team, like I feel like I screw up a lot of times, and I want to fix that really quick because I want us to move on, and I don't want to be the thing that like slows us down, or the thing that. And so like in team and work and church dynamics, like it's like we got stuff to do. We got like kingdom stuff to do. We got like, and I'm messing this up. And I think in like life stuff, friend stuff, like I have a decent handful of non-Christian friends, and I goof up and screw up, and I'm quick because I want us to move on. I want us to do the thing, and I have found, especially with the way my mom was growing up, she didn't really want to talk about it. And when we didn't really want to talk about it, then we talked about like walking on eggshells. We used to say it all the time. And I found there were a lot of eggshells that I'm kind of, as a kid, tired of walking on. And so I've kind of committed, like we're not doing that. So Max, Sophia, come here. I'm really sorry. Beth, I'm really sorry. Like, gosh, I did that again. So I don't know.
That's good.
That's a really good place to be.
But is it? This is what I'm having a hard time thinking about.
I think if you mean it.
I think
so.
So.
No, I mean it. But is it like, it feels like a weird motive. the
I
motive
don't
is
think
like,
so.
let's get going.
You want to get back to the important stuff and to reconciliation and
Yeah.
Or fun.
And
One of
fun.
those.
yeah,
Or fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the joy of the Lord.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Can I encourage you just a little bit?
Sure.
You actually know yourself better than most people know themselves. And so you're into the wiring of who Anthony is more than I think most people are. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. And I think you're figuring out real things in real time that are honest and authentic. And I would encourage you, are there things beneath that? Probably. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a layer that you could shovel down to, and you'll find that there's something below the fun that makes you want fun. And that's okay. And you'll find that, or you won't, or whatever. But you're finding the things as you dig, and you're being honest about them. And I think that's a huge deal. See, for me, it's interesting because I am super quick to forgive family or ask forgiveness. I love my family and my friends, and hurting them bothers me. And so I'm super fast. And I'm also super confident in the relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The person that's hard for me is a person where I have to grovel. And they're going to make me ask 5, 6, 7 times.
Oof.
And they're going to judge me based on my remorse. Or they're going to judge me based on this.
Yeah.
And it makes me not even want to start.
Ooh.
Like I just am like, this is going to take so long and it's going to be so hard, and I'm going to probably be mad at you by the time we're done.
And we're gonna have to forgive you
And
again.
we're gonna have to start this thing all over again,
Another
right?
9 months.
Perpetual forgiveness
Totally.
cycles.
Have you ever been around? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and they're gonna make this hard, man. And they're gonna. I'm like, okay, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, that person is really. And I never want to be like that. I want to be somebody that helps people to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this has been a really rich conversation. And I think my prayer for our people is that they would take one step into forgiveness, like either forgiving someone that God is asking them to forgive, or maybe reaching out for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Or even starting to process pain with God.
Yeah.
And
Or a
where does
counselor.
that start? Or God or a counselor. I think that's a great point. Like
Or a
counselors
friend who
are
really
good.
loves you.
Yeah. Or a
Yeah.
pastor.
That's the other thing I'd say. I hope there's a group of Christians that look others in the eye and say, there's something wrong with you. Like, can I help you figure that out? You know, calls them
I love that.
into forgiving others.
Let's be bold in a loving way, right?
Yeah.
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 I think
Can I
that's
say, I
good.
think even the doorway can be to recognize you have pain.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, this hurts, this isn't okay, I don't think I'm okay, I don't think I'm functioning well, and have no idea what to do. I think that is actually a first step, and it's a positive step, and it's not, and I would say pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And find somebody that you trust
Yeah.
and tell them. And just literally ask this question, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good start. And begin to walk down that road and go to God with a journal and a pen and a Bible and just say, what would you do? And I think he'll meet you in that. And I think that it doesn't have to be profound, but it can start to move our heart, and to know that if we do that for a little while, we'll have movement and we won't stay where we are.
Yeah. That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Well, across our campuses this weekend, we're starting a new series. So we're moving out of relationships and into actually a series on invitation.
Yep.
But not invitation maybe in the way you might think about it.
Yep.
Not in necessarily invitation to church, but invitation to Jesus. And so, Scott, you're going to kick us off this week.
I am.
Talking about what we have to give away.
Right.
And so I'm excited for that. But if you are listening to this, we hope to see you at one of our campuses. You can find times online at chapel.org. And then you can catch up with this podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. But we'll see you next week.